Welcome, everybody. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about avoiding that cliff. You know, when your child finishes high school and you're like, wait, what do we do now? We're going to set you up to be successful and for your loved one to be successful by planning for a successful transition IEP. I'm Christine Vaccaro, and I'm one of the family navigators here at St. Louis ARC. I'm also a parent of an adult child who's autistic. I'm a speaker, presenter, a disability advocate, and an educational advocate. In the summer, I'm all about the pool, and year round, anything chocolate goes in my world. One of the most important things for us to do is stop and think about what are the options when my child gets to high school, because you can take different paths. You can take the what's called traditional route and graduate with a diploma, go on to college, employment, volunteerism, a day program, anything that we think of that is kind of that traditional path. Or maybe your child graduates with a certificate. With the certificate, they might get a fifth year or sixth year. They can attend till they're 21. Or maybe they go into vocational education. So the first step is deciding what looks best for my child. Once you have that in mind, we're going to look at that transition IEP. So, a transition IEP occurs when a child is 14 to 16, and the IEP really shifts to focus on what are things going to look like after school is over? How do we prepare this child to be a successful adult? I always say start early. If you can start when they're 14, maybe going into freshman year, the earlier you can plan, the better. Also, make sure you're involving your child in the IEP. Nobody knows them better than they know themselves. And they all have huge opinions on what they think their life should look like. And we need to respect that. So have them come in, maybe say some wants or desires. Maybe they come in at the end of the meeting just to find out what their day is going to look like, if there's any changes made, any updated goals. Whatever their capacity is, involve them as much as possible. And when you're looking at that vocational assessment that happens for that transition IEP when they're 14 to 16, keep in mind you probably need a second one on their last year of school, whether that's the traditional 4-year school or they're in school a little longer. Because I don't know about you, but there is a huge difference, I think, between a 14-year-old and an 18 to 21-year-old in what they want. And maybe they've had opportunities to explore along the way and they have better idea of what they want and need. So always ask for that kind of exit vocational assessment. Here I have a couple things to keep in mind and then a few links that I'm going to pull up to show you. One of the main things you want to do, make sure you include strengths in your child's IEP. Sometimes we go into an IEP and all we hear are struggles and challenges for our child. School isn't always quick to point out the good things, the positives. So you as a parent may need to do that, or your child if they're with you. There can be strengths in so many different areas. This little graphic here kind of shows you just some basic ideas. Emotional strengths, maybe they're cool under pressure, language, physical strengths, critical thinking. Maybe they're creative, they think outside the box. Any strength you can come up with is going to be a benefit not only for school, but for your child as well. Here, there'll be a link that is focusing on 127 student examples. And it goes through, there's an article, social strengths, emotional strengths. Actual gives you phrasing that you can use in an IEP. But like I said, there's 127 of them, so I know that can jog your memory to help your own child. Also, a good thing to do is a little planning ahead of time with your child. And I've included links to a couple different versions of things you can do. One is called a vision statement. So, a vision statement is what you want your life to look like or what your child wants their life to look like. The IEP is going to be the roadmap of how you get to that end result. So here's a sample vision statement, and it just talks about likes, dislikes, students' name and age, interests, even if it's hobbies, doesn't have to be work related. Strengths, gifts, talents, what motivates them? How do we light that fire in them? And family strength and supports. What does their natural support environment look like? This, what is our vision, is kind of your own child's vision, like more person-centered for them to fill out. You can draw pictures, you could paste magazine cutouts, you could type on it, write on it. It's yours to create, but it kind of gives school an idea of exactly where you and your child are coming from. Another thing you can do is charting the life course, a transition trajectory. And what that is another planning tool through UMKC. They have a whole website of basically charting the life course. So, charting your life, a good life, your vision, how do you get there? I've included the link to the website. And if you go to course library and then foundational tools, you can go over to person-centered, so the individual with the disability, what they think. You can also go to family perspective, so you as a parent can kind of get your perspective in there. When you click on these links, it'll take you to some printable options, tools to fit your unique needs, and how to get started. It'll walk you right through things. There's a trajectory for exploring, which is great to use to prepare for an IEP. Also for planning. I'm just going to click on this one for exploring to kind of show you what it looks like in a bigger version. And then open that up. In this box here on the right-hand side at the top, vision for what I want. This is what your child's wildest dreams are, what they think is going to make them happy as an adult. Whether it's a job, maybe it's college, maybe it's living with a roommate on their own. Whatever it looks like, what they want their good life to be is what you put in this top box. Down at the bottom is what they don't want. And believe me, they know exactly what it is they do not want. Even if they're not sure what they really want, they know what they don't want. Sometimes it might be easier if you start in that bottom box with what they don't want, and then that leads to, if they don't want to live at home, up here you can put they want to be independent. So you can kind of start there and go back and forth however you need to. On the left-hand side, you notice this line that goes up and it's got a little arrow pointing to that good life. This side is going to be for the steps you can take to make sure you get to that good life for your child. Anything above the line is positive things you can do to bring you to that future goal. Is it volunteer at an animal shelter? Is it prepare for college, take tests? Is it maybe more independent living skills, learning how to manage money, things like that? Underneath, you're going to put things that might stop you from getting to that good life or stop your child from getting to that good life. Maybe it's not letting parents make all the decisions for them. Maybe it's not trying to work or volunteer somewhere. Whatever fits best for your family, it's totally one of a kind and customizable, but it's a great tool to bring to an IEP meeting so school has a very clear understanding of what your child wants and it gets everybody on the same page. Just a few more tips. Review that IEP frequently. IEPs have to happen annually according to law, but you as a parent who are part of the IEP team can call an IEP meeting whenever you feel it's necessary. Say you have an IEP and you're a quarter in and maybe a goal just isn't working out or it doesn't seem obtainable. You can ask for an IEP meeting and reconvene with the team and maybe rewrite that goal or find something that's a little more in line with what your child's current needs and wants are. Also, involve other agencies. Anyone who works with your child is an asset to bring to an IEP team meeting. DMH, VR, therapist, paras, aides, community support services, camp counselors. Maybe there's an aunt that they go spend the weekends with sometimes. Bring her. It also kind of stacks the table more equally. I know a lot of times when my son was younger and I would go to an IEP meeting before I knew to bring people, it would be me on one side of the table and 8 or 9 school staff on the other. That can be really intimidating for a family. So bring your supports with you because they all have very valid information to give to help your child be as successful as they can. We talked about creating that transition trajectory with your child. And basically, keep in mind their last day of high school, whatever plan it may be, is really the first day of the rest of their life. And we want nothing more than for them to be successful and happy. Okay, I really enjoyed speaking with you today. I hope you found this information usable and relatable. If you would like links to this presentation, please send an email to handoutrequests@slark.org. And if you still feel a little overwhelmed with things, we do have family navigation available. And what we do is we can kind of walk you through all these steps and forms and support you with an IEP meeting so you don't feel so overwhelmed. So you're as prepared as you can be. There will also be a contact that can be sent out on how to contact us if you're interested in that navigation. Thanks so much and have a great day.